Good afternoon, Paul.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, so glad to have you to speak with us for Family Wealth Management Leadership Unlocked today.
Okay, thank you
Yeah.
for having me. Yeah.
Well, lovely opportunity to speak with Paul. If you haven't met Paul, just let me share with you who Paul is, okay? Paul is a very well-established CFO leader. He has been working in different continents, in like Europe, in Americas, and also down in Asia as well.
Yeah.
So we are very fortunate to have Paul today. But I mean, for our episode, it will be a 30 minutes chat. For the first 20 minutes, I will try my very best to take out as much as like leadership wisdom from Paul. The last 10 minutes, we'll leave it to some kind of Q&A sessions. And then I know that some of my friends, they really want to learn more from Paul. So they also share questions with me. So leave that to us. Okay, so Paul, do you consider yourself a very successful CFO leader? Because I know that you work for companies, they are like Fortune 500 companies. You work for a company, they are like the top 5 companies in France. In your last company, you actually help them to grow in 5 years' time, starting off from a company revenue of like 250 million, and then you help them to grow into a 1 billion plus company. Do you consider yourself a very successful leader?
I think when you talk about success, it's always it's not the individual. It's always because the team behind. Because without them, you can never succeed. So the success is really owed by the people that you are behind you, help you give you that success. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
So I mean, I can actually relate that Paul is a not just a number guy, okay? He's a leader who actually thinks so much about the people. But I know that interestingly, you have been helping company to do great financially, but last 1 year, you have a new career passion. You are now helping like family office or individuals to help them to build their long-term financial planning. Why is that? What made you to have this career change?
All right. I think start with I have some people very close to me who basically didn't really plan, and you see that in real life where they actually basically suffering from having no plans, and financially they don't have that long-term financial stability. So I've been helping companies for most of my life, and that's been very satisfying and have quite a few successes. So I thought, why then use that skill to help individuals? And what I found is that is far more satisfying in a way, because it's far more emotional engagement, something that works, or you help someone to achieve that long-term financial stability.
Okay. So today we have a very unique combination of like a CFO leader who cares not just company's performance, but individually you want them to do well financially long term. Okay, so share with us what are the similarities or what might be the differences when you're trying to help company to have like long-term financial stability versus individuals to have financial stability? Are they the same or different?
I think I don't think it's different for different things, but the actual principles are the same. Whether company, individual, you start with, why is it you're doing it? What's the purpose of doing it? And from that, hopefully you have certain objective goals, and then you have a strategy or plan out to achieve those goals. So the footprint I see it as identical.
Okay, so actually it's a very transferable skills, right?
Yes.
But the starting point for corporate or for individual, you need to start with a purpose. So, I mean, you can devise different strategies and plan to realize those purposes.
Yes.
Good. So today we talk about like the leadership success stories. If I would like to spend like some time to talk about the your leadership success stories, do you have a story to tell maybe it's personal, or maybe someone that inspire you. Hey, this is what a effective leader should do.
Yeah, I mean, I had one very good leader, I think, when I was in my younger days, who basically, he was very engaging in not just me, but the rest of our team. And to a sense that not only we had a good relationship, but he also helped us to develop. And he fought for us. So you suddenly realize this person cares about the team, which he sees as part of him, as opposed to him being a leader and leader only. Yeah.
Okay, so Paul, you talk about a leader who cares, right?
Yeah.
But in case of crisis,
Yeah.
will the leader behave the same way, or do you have a actual like crisis situation that maybe you personally stood up as a leader, and do you have those stories to share with us as well?
Yes, I think when as I moved up the corporate ladder, so things started taking charge of businesses. I remember one time where we had a client and we had to go live just over the weekend, and we had to build this a system for them. And for whatever reason, came Friday, we said we'll do a test. Someone made some change, and the whole thing just fell apart.
Wow.
We didn't know what went wrong, and everyone started blaming everybody else, and it was chaotic, and it was very the atmosphere was very quite toxic.
Yeah.
When I found out, I said, look, let's worry about who to blame, as opposed to what we're going to do trying to fix it.
Yeah.
And trying to get that. We only got 2 days really over weekend to do that, to go live. When we got the team together and got them to work out a plan, because ultimately they have to deliver. I didn't have the technical ability.
Yeah.
And what they did was, so they came over the weekend, they did. I joined them because I just felt it was my problem, much as their problem. Well, it was really more my problem because I'm responsible. And they were the one that could give me that solution and able to fix it. So I see that where I guess, I chose that path of engaging with mine, but I see some people might just not even turn up and just say, well, you just got to do it, fix it, and walk away. By doing that, I just, they felt I was there. They would, I get more people came on the Sunday, and we managed to fix it over the weekend, went live on the Monday, which I felt I couldn't have achieved that without them, but also they felt I was, part of the solution, how to fix it, as opposed to I'm just that cold person who just shout orders at them. So I think that made a big difference. I wasn't sure if I was that kind of person where they come in the weekend for me.
Yeah. So successful leader, that is most needed when it's in crisis situation.
Yeah.
So thank you, Paul, for sharing such a wonderful story with us. It's not just about blaming, but you are able to give people direction, fixing the situation, finding solution, be there, and if they need anything, you'll be there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that it turns out really well. But now today our topic is about family wealth management. Have you come across any the first generation, second generation leader, for family officers on building wealth for their family, that you also see some of them they do well, and other leaders in the family office, they should consider doing that as well?
Yeah, you get. I don't think it's unique to family offices. You see in companies too, where some do it very well, and some do it very badly. And it's most of the problem is the people who are in charge may not have the experience or the skill set. Usually in the family office, the eldest son, whatever it is like you're in charge. He might have no experience of managing people or managing particular people. He might know about how to do things, but the managing the team behind to give you that long-term success. Okay, short-term is kind of easy. You cut, you cajole, you bully, whatever it is. It's getting that long-term. So whether it be family office or businesses, there is real mixed picture, and all stems from where people are elevated to that position or got promoted where they have been equipped with the tools to help them to lead.
Yeah.
So that is, that just happens in both.
Yeah. So, Paul share with us, when someone high up, it's not just like lip services.
Yeah.
You also need to back up yourself, your strategy with some practical, really like proven technical skill set as well. Yeah. So I think as a leader, we need all-round skills, right? Yeah. Technical skills, strategic skills, but also people skills. Yeah. Thank you so much. But for the because people are always curious about, hey, is there any examples that leaders should not do? Do you recall any personal experience that, hey, you came across leaders, hey, we might everyone, hey, if you want to be an effective leader, don't do something like this?
Yes. Maybe I just go back, I remember reading something a while back, John Maxwell, say 5 levels of leadership. Okay. And basically is that obviously you have to follow them because you have to. They pay you have to.
That's level 1, right?
And then you build up some sort of relationship. That's level 2. So you like work because you have some sort of relationship. Or next level, so if someone deliver results and you see it like that and people, they follow you. And then you get to level 4 where you help them develop. You're trying to, I look at it, you're trying to help them to be a good team, but also maybe the future leaders themselves. And, lastly, you know who they are and what they represent. So that's kind of respect. So when you say the bad leader, they got stuck at level 1. You do it because you have to. Okay?
Yeah.
And you would do the minimum. You just clock in, clock out.
Yeah.
So yes, you see a lot of that. Now I have a personal experience of that where I had someone basically, he stayed in his room all day and just shout orders in. That was it. I always get those orders and the team just never got that respect, never quite engaged, which would go an extra mile, probably not. I've had that experience myself, which lasted a couple of years.
Okay. So I know that many of our audience, they are also really well experienced. But but when you really move up, in the career ladder, you just need to choose what kind of leadership lifestyle you want to really portray or as perceived by your performance, right?
Yeah.
Based on what Paul just said, even your previous boss, the position title can be like a really big title.
Yeah.
But he chose to really interact with the team member on what he called the level 1.
Yeah.
Just using his authority. So people with this type of leadership style, how other people or the performer interact with him? Are they trying to stay away with him, or they just follow everything he said because they feel the fear of it, or how's that?
Yeah, they just do what they're told type of thing. You see that quite a lot. I think when I first came to Hong Kong, some of the companies, because the boss says do this, they do it. And what they don't realize is that the people will just do the bare minimum.
Yeah.
Because they have to, right?
True.
And they will not give more.
Yeah.
And that's can you succeed? Yeah, if you do the minimum. It's for companies, long-term goal and health, it's not a good, I don't think it's a good place to be. And for the staff too, because they just think, well, I do, it's a job.
Yeah.
As opposed to something you feel, you want to achieve something, be a bit more passionate in the role that or job that you've take up.
Yeah. Completely echo with you, right? Yeah. For someone, if they just use authority, so the company's performance, team performance, engagement, we can kind of predict how it will look like long term. Okay, so we know that today we talk about family wealth management leadership. So I don't know whether Paul feel comfortable to talk about maybe some of the experience you got by working with family offices or individuals. What are the things that you think, hey, they haven't done well, that's why they might lose out the opportunity to achieve financial stability for their family or for themselves personally?
I think in terms of planning wealth for your family and your loved ones. Maybe with with what I think wealth management is quite generic. People don't really know what that is. Everyone thinks it's just investment. That's it, but it's more holistic. Okay, yeah. So there's obviously the investment side of things, how you invest your money, but there's also the your estate plan, your legacy, how that when you talk about family, the generational thing, how you're going to move that money down to them, yeah. And there's the protection. You want to make sure that wealth is protected, you don't lose it. So how do you do that? And also, let's say for Hong Kong, there's also tax planning for some people, and also you want to have going back. The purpose, the goal is what is it you're trying to achieve. So you do all those things together. You don't just look at one aspect of it. And what a lot of people don't do is actually work out why they're doing it and what they need to do. They quite could just put in the will and just pass on the money down. So that needs to be properly thought out and planned carefully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think what I heard from Paul, I mean, like personal financial planning, it's better for you to do a holistic approach.
Yes.
But if many people, they're missing out of the opportunity to retain their financial wealth or to protect and also to minimize the cost, or is about like losing a purpose at the very beginning or losing the planning while they still can, right?
Yeah.
So it's the when that matters.
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
all good. So, I mean, we are very happy to really learn from Paul today. And then if we, it's kind of summing up that or Paul want to give some advice to people if you do like family wealth planning, or if you really go up to the corporate ladder as a civil leader, what is some kind of advice you give them to become such a leader people will look up to?
I would say first work out the purpose, the why you're doing it, and then set objectives, goal based on that, and then work out a strategy, a plan, how to deliver that. And that's whether it be corporate, whether it be personal. And obviously those things are not done off the cuff. It should be planned early, particularly for, you're talking about the family wealth passing on. That should be done much early, not on your golden years or last minute on your deathbed, that kind of thing. So do that up front. And that should give you time to achieve the goals that you want. Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, planning is very key. But I mean, before we really wrap up the chatting side of thing, I remember there's some interesting strategy that those like first gen or second gen that you heard from.
Yeah.
How they can motivate their like next generation to work harder. So the family wealth can be like preserved for even longer time.
Yes, so that's right. I mean, the key thing about passing down wealth, some people have a will, might divide it by equally, and that's it. Some might plan a bit better, but I think one of the problems I've come across with, because the boomers who had all the assets are passed to the next generation. The next generation tend to feel a bit more entitled, if you like. They don't have that incentive. They know that if they passed away, the parents passed away, they get all the money, all the assets. So there's no incentive for them to work or to achieve anything. Not all, but you get lots of that. And because they're just almost waiting for it to die type of thing. So you need to plan to say, this asset's yours, but you can set parameters, you can set goals for them. I know someone who basically, they started a career. Now you might say, if you get a career in this or you achieve a job getting this, I can either match your salary, give a chunk of money like a bonus, or some have said, okay, because you work in the US, a very high tax place, I cover the tax for you. Okay, so we get that incentive. They want to get a job, and they feel that money is well used, by the parents. And if they got a family, they can pass on, set goals for the kids, could be for their schooling only. So you set up trust and that kind of thing to, in a way, to contain the purpose each of that money, so it's spent wisely, basically. But otherwise, they just burn it. They might not. Some people don't trust their sons and daughters. Once they get a chunk of money, they don't know how to manage it. They just go and spend it. Or their partners might have that attitude. Oh well, you got rich parents. I'm gonna just burn the money for you. So you can restrict all that. You can. Once they restrict, you're trying to help them to make the money last, so that it goes on. So don't spend it straight away. They could go to their kids and so forth, the next few generations.
Yeah, so today when we talk about the family wealth, it's so interesting, right? Yeah. You just got rewarded because you work hard and someone will match your salary as a bonus. You're not someone, it's your first gen, second gen. And then I wish I will be in this position. Okay, I think it's time for us to really go into the Q&A, okay? But before I move on that, I just quickly link it up based on what I heard from Paul today. For really effective leaders, they all start with purposes. It's very similar to what situational leadership talks about. For step one, if you want to make sure you can help your performer to achieve what you want, so the leader has to be very clear on the purpose. And you need to set parameters so your performer knows how they will be measured or how they will also regard themselves being successful as well. Thank you, Paul, for highlighting the importance of setting goals at the very beginning. For Q&A, I know that my friends, they urged me to ask you, okay? They said that, first of all, they want to do better in terms of their own financial planning. Everyone wants to have financial stability, to be confident in the future as well. But what are the common mistakes in financial planning and how can we avoid it?
The common mistakes, they don't plan, they don't think about it till it's too late. I know people that leave it so late, almost a few years to retirement, and say, well, I want to retire in 5 years' time, but you don't have enough assets to last you through, to your 90s or beyond. And the danger is or the mistake is, you don't plan, you leave it too late. And the best thing is to plan early. I think, quickly, let's say the 20s, you don't have much money, right?
Yeah.
You're still trying to save. Maybe for profit in over the 30s, start making some better money. The gap between your expenditure and income are bigger now. So you've got more income, surplus income. And in 40s, that gets bigger. You start accumulating. 50 is accumulating. And hopefully 60, you use all that accumulation you spend. It's really try and plan it. Perhaps in your 30s, think about, maybe you have children, their school fees, about your retirement. So you can retire early if you plan earlier. But if you leave it too late, it gets hard. And the choices then begins to narrow.
Good. So I would like to hear from the audiences what age you would like to retire, okay? And then if you really want to retire earlier, I heard some people want to retire at 40, 45. And then if you want to do so, if there's still chance, maybe you can talk to someone like Paul, okay? And then there's another interesting question. When we talk about Paul, he's very experienced. It's not just about the corporate financial health you're building, but you're also very involved in the latest technologies, be it the blockchain, the tokens, the Web3, and then DAOs, you name it, okay? Everything about the future fintech development. So Paul, what will you predict as a trend for the future financial planning on an individual basis?
I think, everyone's going crazy about AI, so I think that would take a bigger part. I think what I do, it could be a mixture of, face-to-face, but with the AI and amount of data and the data analytics, I think that will become far more important in terms of creating a more bespoke needs for the individual, far more scalable, by using a lot of data that you have already. And I see a lot of automation at the back. I think it started already. I've seen it in my own company. So it becomes far more automated, simpler. And that should bring down the cost of the service as well. But the other thing, I mean, you mentioned about crypto and everything else. I think some of it, not all of it, has happened already. Some got crypto ETFs, and Trump is talking about using it as part of the reserve currencies. So that will have his own part as part of the investment thing. But looking at the next generation, because this generation's got the money, the boomers are passing the next generation, Gen Z, they're slightly different. They probably more want transparency, automation, so platforms they want to go into. They might even want a robo-advisor. I get replaced by a robot try advising them. And then that goes to I think the regulation will get harder, because then you've got an AI advising you, so those will change. And then finally, with the future generation, I think the ESG will become more prevalent, I think, in terms of investment, because the next generation are far more, I would say they're far more aware, maybe a bit savvy than the older generation.
So, I mean, by hearing from Paul, we go into a very interesting direction that for the future is all about like transparency. Because there's so many more like financial planning. There are so many like fintech players, upcoming fintech players. They'll be offering different kinds of services. I hope that your job will stay. But I'm sure, because we need human interactions, right? And also, I mean, for fintech, we leave everything to the robot. I don't know how it will look like. We're yet to find out. But I will be thinking maybe there's a new trend that even for individual, they might be able to come up with their own fund. What do you think?
Yeah, they can. I think with fintech now, I reckon there'd be other platforms. There might be cheaper platforms. They use a lot of the technology you have today, whether it be AI or the data. They might create a simpler platform for themselves or certain niches. So I can see that. And it'll be much, I think they might be cheaper in terms of cost of running it, and also might be much more personal to them, because in that particular niche. I can see that.
So I think it's almost time to wrap up for today's chat with Paul. There are a few things I learned from you, but I'm sure you will be able to help us to give the last advice before we end the conversation today. I mean, financial planning is not just focusing on the growth. We need to think holistically with the purpose. We need to actually think about the cost structure. Because sometimes the growth number doesn't really compensate with the increasing cost. So it's more than just the growth. Is about the overall, the net performance predictability. Did I hear you correctly?
I mean, I think what we mustn't get confused with when the value and cost. I think what I try and do is bring value to things. It's no different. You go to a lawyer, go to a accounting firm, whatever, the professional services. You want them to bring you value, the solutions, and that you value that much more than worry about the cost itself. And obviously you want the planned investment would obviously cover that. That's what you want. But I think the focus should be more on the planning about the purpose of that, and trying to achieve those goals rather than think of the cost of everything. Because if you do that, you create your own roadblocks.
Wonderful. So thank you so much, Paul, for spending a whole 30 minutes with me. I hope we all learned something, the importance of planning. You can always have different strategy to go about to achieve those purpose and goals. Okay, I think that's all for this afternoon. Then, Paul, anything to add here before we say goodbye to our audiences?
Just recap on two things. One is, make sure you know why you're doing it, and set those goals, and do it sooner rather than later. Okay, I hope you can do it as early as 30. Okay, let's just all say goodbye. Thank you.